Zora Neale Hurston is one of the preeminent writers of the 20th century whose work has influenced such writers as Ralph Ellison, Toni Morrison, Alice Walker, and now, for the first time ever, Kelly Kenna. Who? Oh, that's me. The never-published, hardly prolific, but self-acclaimed writer of such semi-autobiographical works as Bulimia Camp and Descent into Madness. Lacking the imagination and talent of Neale Hurston, I have persevered nonetheless, doggedly pursuing the path of this literary giant from the moment I first laid eyes on the email informing me that Neale Hurston would be the topic of this month's book. I'll never forget that fateful day, nearly 4 weeks ago, when I first read the news. I was immediately struck by inspiration. A song, I proclaimed, startling my cat. I shall write a song. It would be a masterpiece of musical parody, a first ever marriage of 1980s indie rock and Harlem Renaissance era literature. Borrowing a melody from the Violent Femmes and tentatively titled Raisin in the Sun, it would be my magnum opus. Like they go on, like a raisin in the sun. That was when I discovered that Raisin in the Sun was in fact written by Lorraine Hansberry, who is an altogether different human being than Zora Neale Hurston. Somewhat relieved, as 4 weeks was probably an unrealistic time frame for learning how to play the guitar and carry a tune, I returned to the drawing board. Like the good pupil I was born to be, I purchased Their Eyes Were Watching God and downloaded the audiobook of Zora's autobiography. Like the half-hearted pupil I've apparently become, I completed approximately 75% of my self-assigned reading when it hit me. I would never come up with anything worth saying about the brilliant Zora Neale Hurston, or in fact about anything or anyone ever again for the rest of my life. It's probably meaningless anyway, so what's the point of doing anything? Foiled again by the twin blades of seasonal affective disorder and melodrama. But I would not be defeated. If Zora could overcome the death of her mother at age 13, expulsion from boarding school thanks to her deadbeat dad, harsh criticism from her contemporaries, a reputation-damaging false accusation, and financial hardship, she died broke and was buried in an unmarked grave. If she could overcome all this and still manage to publish 4 novels and over 50 short stories, plays, and essays, certainly I could overcome a lack of self-confidence to write a single essay for one small, albeit culturally and historically significant performance. So without further ado, I introduce an original-ish work of fiction, performed here for the very first and, God willing, last time ever. Her Eyes Were Side-Eyeing God by Kelly Kenna. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Shelley who lived in a magical bubble called the suburbs. Shelley had a nice family who lived in a nice house, and they even had a little white dog that was only slightly psychotic due to the inbreeding. Despite this, Shelley was a happy little girl who loved to read. She liked all kinds of literature. Shel Silverstein poems, Gary Larson comics, Beverly Cleary novels, and scary stories by R.L. Stine. If it was words, she read them. Then a terrible thing happened to Shelley, and it was called puberty. That was when things started to get hairy. Everything became very dark and scary, and not in the fun goosebumps kind of way, but in a let's get you medicated kind of way, which eventually turned into let's take you to the psych ward kind of way. And by the time things got dark and scary and had time to go to rehab way, Shelley had... You're a beautiful young woman. And by beautiful, I of course mean strung out and dysfunctional. But eventually, Shelley got her shit together and became a real adult who did real adult things, like opening her mail and paying the rent, and getting a job and actually going to it. In other words, she was finally living her best life. Still, a nagging feeling kept bothering Shelley. The glamour and allure of the cubicle had begun to fade. She started to wonder if there was more to life than writing ad copy about collectible plates. As the walls of her beige cage started to feel like they were closing in on her, Shelley knew she had to do something. Taking the advice of some self-help articles she had once skimmed through, Shelley decided to follow her passion. Thinking back to all the stories she read as a child, she realized that she wanted to become a famous storyteller. So she threw herself into her new career path, setting a rigorous schedule for herself, occasionally writing in her journal, performing stand-up twice a year, defending her lack of ambition to anyone who suggested that success required effort. You see, Kelly knew... effort to become a world-renowned storyteller was really hard. And Shelley was a delicate flower whose mental health could be derailed by the slightest provocation, like a disappointing hamburger or the blue line during rush hour. But just as Shelley was resigning herself to the lackluster fate which God seemed to have in store for her, a miracle happened. She was invited to perform at a world-renowned, star-making, live-lit show in the big city. It was the opportunity of a lifetime, and for Shelley, it was to be the turning point in her soon-to-be legendary journey to stardom. She spent hours preparing the perfect story, an epic tale of a protagonist who bore a striking resemblance to the author, but was completely fictional, I assure you. Who changed her life with just a math book and a lifetime of not-so-quiet desperation on her side. So with her story in hand and a side eye on God, in whom she didn't believe, but whose mention here seems necessary given the title of the story, Shelley took the first step towards greatness and the incredible fame and riches that would soon follow. And the crowd went